up, guys? Yep, another Oktoberfest going on today. And with today's input, we will be doing SanTan's Oktoberfest out of Chandler, Arizona. Chandler is the suburb of Phoenix. And SanTan is the largest craft independent brewery in the state of Arizona. Since Four Peaks went over to the dark side with InBev, it's now SanTan. And this is the first Oktoberfest beer that I've done, and I think I've done about 15, that doesn't have any blue in it. I'm a little disappointed they didn't go with like the blue and white tablecloth look. But, you know, to each their own. They do have a dog with beer, so I think we'll call it even then. And also, stay tuned. I'm going to be visiting SanTan Brewing Company later in the week. I'll be in the Arizona area, and so I'm going to try to do a beer review and, you know, or a brewery review, get the house brews and go through that. That'll be my first brewery review on here. So look forward to that. We'll see if I can do that. I'll have to use my phone and I don't know. But anyways, let's crack this open. Now, one thing, again, this is another Arizona beer. Most of my craft beers or craft Oktoberfest beers that I've had on here. Alright, sorry for the interruption. Dogs kind of lost their minds for a second. I don't know why. But you know how dogs can happen. But, yeah. I've only really been able to... There haven't been a lot of micro beers that have reached me yet that haven't been from Arizona or one of the surrounding states like Colorado. Have you guys found that to be your case so far, where it's just like you're pretty much only getting the craft beers within your general one or two state footprint? I mean, usually I'll get a bunch from California and Oregon and Washington State and all that stuff. None of those have hit yet. I don't know if it's just Oktoberfest just isn't a thing. Nobody really does it. I thought maybe a brewery like Firestone Walker would kind of put some Oktoberfest stuff out, but I have not seen anything from anybody else. So I'm crossing my fingers that they'll get to me within the next week or so, because I'm running pretty low on Oktoberfest options, and I'd like to review more Oktoberfest beers from out of my state jurisdiction so that I can get more beers that you guys will be drinking. But for now, I just got to work with what I got, and what I got is not a ton. So have you guys found that to be the case? And as I said in the last video, pumpkin beers. If I was doing pumpkin beer videos, that'd be no problem. There's a gazillion of them out. But I don't know if I'll be doing a pumpkin beer every day. That might be a little too... We'll see. But anyways, just poured that sucker out, and we'll get the dog logo pointed to you guys. And here it is, zero head, nice amber color. So no carbonation. We'll see how that goes. Let's get into the review and get into the smell. It's going to be one of those beers where it's very hard to pick up anything. Maybe a toasted almond kind of thing, like a toasted almond, maybe a hint of raisin. Like a raisin toffiness kind of thing. It's not very pronounced. It's hard to, not a ton, but when you don't have much carbonation and no head, you're not always going to get, there's not a lot of movement, so you're not going to get as many aromas if they're not super pronounced. Almost, I can't tell if there's a hint, a subtleness, very, very deep down of a cinnamon almost. Maybe I'm just trying too hard to pick stuff out because I'm really... I feel like there's almost a bit of the a pumpkin seasonal spice just buried so far deep where you're getting just a little bit of remnants. I'm not exactly sure because it's very hard to pick anything up. From what I am picking up, I think it's going to be good. I can't tell. But it doesn't smell funky. The bits I'm getting do smell enticing enough for me to continue on. So I will recommend it on taste, on smell. It's doing it so far. I'm curious to keep going. I'm not turned off yet. So I would recommend it on smell. Let's get into the taste. All right, there's a bit of malty brawliness going on. There is kind of a sweetness right on the tip of my tongue. It's trying to pinpoint what that is. It's a subtle sweetness, not like the punch in your face, like super fruit sweetness. But there's a maybe like a Is juicy raisin? Can I even say that? Yeah, I mean, that not really great. It's like you did great, but you extract most of the sugar from it. There's just almost like a raisiny apple thing going on into my tongue, which I think it works. And I like this without the heavily carbonation. I feel like if there's more carbonation, or if there's really any carbonation in this thing, it would kind of make that barley maltiness a bit too intense and kind of like attack the side of your tongues and everything. And I think for this particular beer, it works without having that. So I like it. It kind of like shaves and sands and smooths out the edges of the beer, which is nice. I think this is actually a pretty solidly done Oktoberfest beer. There's so it doesn't really have that pumpkin seasonal spice. I thought maybe the aromas, maybe I was just kind of like mentally trying to think of something that smelled like. It is you definitely get the lager taste at the base. It's definitely, you have your standard kind of just lager. And then you kind of build up the Oktoberfest stuff going on with it. This one, I think the actual, just the kind of standard American lager is a little more pronounced. It's not as hard to look for. You find it pretty easily, but it's there. And, it's pretty straightforward. It's not like it's not reinventing the atom or the wheel or anything like that. I think it's a good tasting Oktoberfest beer from a craft brewery that knows they're probably only going to make it for a month. So I respect that. I respect it. So I think it's pretty good. I will recommend it on taste. It does the job. I like the craft beers that do this. I was actually very surprised. I went to 2 microbreweries last week. One of those things that you blink and there's like more popped up in town. What happened here? And so I went to 2 different ones. I was surprised that neither of them had any kind of like fall Oktoberfest beer. Granted, one of them, like 9 out of 10 beers, was some form of IPA, which was kind of annoying. It's like, come on, man. There's like 50,000 beer styles. Give me more than 2. And the other one, was one of those like ultra pretentious. I think I just got the ultra pretentious vibe because of the server. It was ultra pretentious, and the person I was with was asking for samples, and they were just like, it was like you just kicked their grandmother or something like that. Like they're like, it's like, really, dude? How are you not, like, you have to be in favor of these samples at a microbrewery. And the first one didn't offer the flights, which was a turnoff too. Which was just like, I want to be able to sample 8 beers at once, man. Like otherwise, I don't know. That's a different rant, different story. But anyways, I will recommend it for taste. I think this is a well done Oktoberfest beer, and I like that a craft beer brewery. The craft beer breweries that I've done have been kind of like pretty good, and then just like, maybe you should skip it next year. But so I will recommend it on taste for SanTan. I think it's good job on that. All right, next category is value for price, and again, this is one of those I spent about $2 for the can. It's craft beer. It's not signed on to some mass partnership to distribute. So it's doing its own thing. So I think $2 for an independent craft beer is more than fair. So I would recommend it on value for price. All right, next category is distinction. How distinct is it? And it's an Oktoberfest beer. It's not doing anything fancy. It just tastes good. If you want an Oktoberfest beer that's not trying to get super fancy, they're not trying to church it up, they're not trying to, blow your mind with adding like cloves and banana peels and like passion fruit and, the dying wings of some East African bullfrog that flies, they're not trying to get super crazy fancy. They're just making the Oktoberfest beer. Boom. So, it's not all that crazy different from some of the other Oktoberfest beers that do it pretty well. And, of course, we've done a couple of Oktoberfest beers on the channel so far that are they're wheat-based or they taste more like a Pilsner. This isn't like that. This is you kind of if you have a picture of an Oktoberfest beer, this kind of fits into that blinder spot. That fits right into that. So I'll give it a half. It does the Oktoberfest pretty well. It doesn't really deviate from anything. It just kind of okay, this is the map that we got to follow. Let's just follow it. Let's get through this and get to the rest of the pumpkin Thanksgiving holiday season beers. So I'm gonna give it a half. What it does well. It doesn't, it's not getting fancy, but it does a pretty good job. Next category is drinkability, and yes, I think this is a very drinkable. Ooh, I got one of those burps that's it'll come out at some point. It is a very drinkable beer. It is 5.5% ABV, which is a tick lower. Ooh, there he goes. It is a tick lower than your standard Oktoberfest beer from most of the companies. Most of the other ones are going to be about between 5.7 and 6.0. So this is a little bit lighter, but I think this is about Sam Adams level. I think Sam Adams is about 5.5. Leinenkugel is still the lowest, I believe, at 5.1. But, so it's a hair higher than your standard lager, but lower than some of the German and other Oktoberfest beers, but it's easy to drink. It's refreshing enough. I think if you can crack this open. You get a 6-pack of this, crack it open, and just kind of enjoy it throughout the day. So I would recommend it on drinkability. All right, last category is value for price. I don't know what I'm doing. Last category is would I buy it again? And I think this is a nice craft beer that they're not trying to get crazy with it. They understand that let's just do Oktoberfest. People want it. At least I think people want it, but maybe I'm crazy because it's harder to find some Oktoberfest beers. But I think it's just a nice beer. I wouldn't mind trying it from a tap. I would like to see what the difference is if they pump more carbonation in it. I feel like the carbonation would almost diminish this beer. I think it works well without the carbonation. So I think I would get it again if it was available. I didn't really feel like buying a German import. I wanted to stay local. One of those kind of things. So, yeah, I think I will recommend it for would I buy it again. This is, I think, kind of up there with one of the better, just nice tasting Oktoberfest craft beers I've had. The Lumberyard was another one that I really enjoyed. That was just smooth and easy to drink. This one has a little more of the maltiness over the Lumberyard. So if you had Lumberyard, of course, that distribution is, I believe, it's probably smaller than SanTan. But if you like the Lumberyard kind of thing and you want a bit more of a maltiness, this works exceptionally well for that. So, yeah, that is about my review for SanTan Brewing Company's Oktoberfest German-style lager. What do you think? Have you had it? Let me know in the comments. Have you had any of your own local craft Oktoberfest beers that you like that hopefully will reach me? But it's first week of September, and it's maybe the liquor stores are just waiting to get more of their summer stock out to bring more in. We'll see. I hope I'm not super flooded past September 13th. We'll see what happens, but just all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, do all those things. And so that is review. And so for myself and for SanTan Brewing Company's Oktoberfest German style lager, take it easy.